there, we have a hashtag for you. It says hashtag NAC Tour. And if you make sure that you put in there, make sure you put in there a hashtag NAC Tour. Take pictures of you. Do it right now. Why the heck? Why not? Just says hashtag. Do something and just take a picture of yourself with your buddies. And because guess what? I love to give prizes. Who likes prizes? I mean, the prize is that you're here and you're playing full out. So who's ready to play full out again today? Awesome. Well, I want to just see you do that thing, because I saw two guys on the screen back there, and they're kind of doing a little bit of this. So show me you really know how to do it. Are you ready? Everybody get your arms out like that. Come on, let me see you shake it. Come on. Come on, do it just for the heck of it. I like this guy right here. Can I borrow you for a second? Come on up here. Come on, give him some love. Come on, guys, give him some love. Come on, show me what you got.
Anything you want, because it's oscillating if I don't take pity. Want to see you get life on the rhythm of my ride, and my lyrics up about electricity. Girl, nobody can do you nothing, because you don't know your destiny. Yo, sexy ladies want part with us, in the car with us, them not war with us. In the club, them want flex with us, to get next with us, them can't vex.
All right, I got a present for you. I'll bring it up. All right, so make sure you do that hashtag. Make sure you do that hashtag, and I'll be giving some prizes away all day and tomorrow. Who likes prizes? All right. Wow, we have just gotten started. I mean, how Joseph started the day off strong, and now we have an amazing person. I can't wait for you to meet him. Dear friend, he's become a dear friend now. Dean Graziosi knows how to create success. Give him some love, first of all. Give him some love. Dean has come from a very humble background. He started with a firewood business in high school, and then he went and had a collision repair shop, and he did his first real estate deal by the time he was 20. From there, he went on to create a multi-million-dollar real estate business, became a multi-New York Times bestseller, 16 years, every day on TV, and is one of the most watched real estate and success trainers of our generation. Can we give him a hand on that? He has maximized success and profit in these endeavors, and his businesses and brands have generated nearly $1 billion in revenue. He is obsessed with sharing success habits, and he's learned from the journey of everything that he has learned, and he wants to share it with you. So please watch the video.
Of a phenomenal success story. Dean Graziosi is a multimillionaire, New York Times best-selling author.
Talking about over 1 million books sold total.
We have a living legend, Dean Graziosi.
We have a living legend when it comes to personal development.
You're talking about a man who's hundreds of millions of dollars in sales.
One of the biggest names in the history of this segment.
He's also reaching millions of people online, and his life.
So much. You've impacted so many lives.
Literally booked this event because we wanted you to come speak at this event.
What I love about Dean is he's a genius at what he does, but the man, as corny as it sounds, he cares. It's easy to care verbally with your lips. He cares with the direction his feet move.
Hey guys, it's about 6 a.m. I'm on the top of Camelback Mountain. What's up, what's up? What's up, what's up? What's up, what's up? What's up, what's up? Just got done running the mountain.
Well, it's entrepreneurs like Dean that are helping make the world a better place.
What's even more remarkable is Dean
started by chopping wood, rebuilding a trailer.
You're a powerful, big spirit.
Sometimes it takes someone seeing in you what you don't even see in yourself.
His ability to captivate and inspire people.
And so there's so much wisdom in there.
Incredible generosity and your enthusiasm.
Give it up for Dean. The man changed my life.
All right, you guys, this guy is the real deal. I am telling you, he just created an amazing product with Tony Robbins, also Russell Brunson, who you're also going to hear from. Can you give a huge Atlanta welcome to Dean Graziosi?
This is what you came for. Strikes every time she moves.
You guys good?
Everybody's watching her.
All right. You guys can sit. Well, listen, first off, welcome for being here. Here's the thing. Before we even start, I know what it's like to want more, and I never forget that. So I want to share what I'm going to talk about this morning is hopefully to open your eyes and anchor you to why you're in this room, maybe even different. For maybe the reason you thought you came is not the reason you actually came. Maybe what you came to get is not the thing you'll get, but you'll get something way better. You guys open for that? Because here's the thing. There's a million people that should be in this room. Most people talk about wanting another level of income, another level of impact, another level of abundance in their life, happiness, joy. But most people talk about it. There's very few people who will cut a check to get a seat in a room, drive through traffic, park the car, wait in line, and come in this room and sit. So I admire you guys. I respect you guys. We're kindred spirits. I've been paying for self-education for my whole life. It changed everything. So let's give a hand for everybody in this room. Okay. So here's what I want to talk about this morning. And when I say I remember, listen, I can remember wanting to do my first deal. I remember I barely got out of high school. I had a desire for more money. I hate watching my family struggle. I hated thinking of a future where I just worked every day and was someone else, under someone else's thumb. Like, all those things bug me. Anybody ever feel that? You have that feeling of even a little bit of envy of other people getting ahead. So I remember that like it was yesterday, to feel like I know there's more for me. I was given more gifts and I want to explore it. Can I make this happen? And I also remember doing $100,000 a year for the first time and what that felt like. And I remember doing $100,000 a month and what that felt like. And then I remember losing everything and what the hell that felt like, and feeling like you're starting over and everybody's like, I knew he was a dreamer. Kid was going for too much. Now look, he got what he deserved. I remember all that shit, and I remember how it feels on the inside of me. So I want you to know, no matter where you are, just starting out, stuff went sideways for you and you're just trying to rebound. You're in the middle, you're making decent money, but you know there's more. Or maybe you're crushing it financially, but it's time you want to give back to the world and make more impact. I've been at every one of those levels, and I try never to forget it. I also know what it was like to get to $100,000 a week. I also know what it was like to get to $100,000 a day. Yesterday, we did $100,000 by 10 o'clock in the morning. So just know, when I share, I'm not sharing theory. This is my 32nd year of being an entrepreneur. I was 4 months old when I started, and thank you. But I know what it's like at every level, and I know the desires you want. So this morning, what I want to do is give you an exercise that I've been doing for over 12 years that has fundamentally shifted my life. I learned it at a mastermind I went to about 12 years ago. I remember the guy's name who shared it, Ken Glickman, at my buddy Joe Polish's mastermind. And when I took it into my life, I made it mine. And it's something I do at least once a quarter, every single quarter of my life. And I'm going to encourage you, if you are just trying to rebound or trying to get something going, in the middle, crushing it, this is an exercise that'll transform your life hands down forever. Who's up for playing full out on that? You guys good? All right. So first, here's how it goes. All change starts by being honest. If you got your journals and your pens, I see so many people writing. I love it. I fill a journal up every 2 months. I fill a journal up. But think about that. All change starts with being honest. And when I say honest, where are you in your life right now? Why are you in this room? Why did you pay for a ticket, fight the traffic, park, come here, take off work, have to get a sitter? Some people in your family or life told you were crazy to come to an event like that. Anybody have that experience, right? So why would you come here? And when I say that, it doesn't mean that your life has to be hell. It doesn't mean that your life's in the toilet. It just means there's something. Can everybody agree we'd like to be better humans next year than we are this year? Right? Who'd like to make more money? Right? More control of your time, right? You guys are here for a reason, but sometimes we get in a hypnotic rhythm of life and we just start accepting shit that we never thought we would. Can we agree on that? We start accepting a rhythm, a habit that And that's not, so what I want you guys to do is think about how you could be completely honest on why you're in this room. Because sometimes being disturbed will get you to move more than the desire for pleasure. Isn't that true? Sometimes you have a thorn in your arm. And anybody read Michael Singer's Untethered Soul? Isn't that a great book? He talks about having a thorn in your arm. So I'm just saying, if you have a little thorn in your arm, like I don't really love what I'm doing, I don't really love where I'm at in my life, I really need to expand, I'd say take the thorn and wiggle it. Get more disturbed. Feel more of the pain, because that will get you to move forward. It's like, think of GPS. If we have a destination, GPS wouldn't work unless we had a starting point. Is that true? So being honest on where you are is a great start, because then the next thing is, if you know where you are, and if you write that in your journals, where am I? And if you don't have the exact answer this second, go back and visit this. But if you know where you are, the next piece is, where do you want to go? And that sounds like a really simple question. You're like, oh, this is this great wisdom from Dean Graziosi. But as simple as that sounds, most of the world only know what they don't want. I've done this on stage for over 15 years, and if you ask someone what they don't want in life, and I've put people on stage, and I put 2 whiteboards, and I said, what don't you want out of life? They will ramble it off like they memorized it. Oh, I don't want this job. I don't want the same routine. I don't want my wife to question me. I don't want my husband not to listen. I don't want. And if you stop someone abruptly, and you say, okay, I see what you don't want. Where do you want to go? Most people will go, that's a good question. Or can I think about that one? So think about, our subconscious has somehow wired us to really figure out what we don't want, but we're just driving without our GPS on. We're driving 100 miles an hour with technology and the way the world has changed. We are driving faster than ever, but we don't have our destination. How are we going to get there? And again, I know you guys, most of you in this room have heard this, you thought about it, but I'm going to ask you this morning, hear it from me like it's the first time you ever heard it in your life. If you and I got in the elevator, and when I got to my hotel room last night at midnight, if we were in the hotel room and we shook hands and I just said, hey, real quick, I know we just met, but if it was a year from now and it was a great year, where do you want to go? Most of us go, oh, let me think about that. Because we're spending our days avoiding the potholes rather than designing our path. So let me just share this with you. It's a story of one of my partners, a great guy. I love to say he's got humble power. This is a guy who sold one of his companies for a gazillion dollars. He's got 8 children. He just had his 8th child. He's a church leader. He's just one of the greatest people. I love him. Him and a bunch of dads in the church, they took like 20 kids, 15 to 18 years old, whitewater rafting in Colorado. So they don't know anything about whitewater rafting. There's a bunch of city guys going up whitewater raft. They take the kids, they get there. It had rained for 3 days. And the waves, he said, were just unbelievable coming down the river. I guess if anybody whitewater rafts, it was a 5 or a 4 out of 5 or a 5 out of 5. He said, really bad. He's like, no way. We're responsible for these kids. I don't think we're going to do it. He said the guide comes out of the building and says, dads, relax. Boys, get in the raft. And he said, he was a little nervous, and he said the guide gets in the raft, and he's talking to all the boys. He said, listen, guys. He said, the turbulence is huge. The rapids are high, like the maximum they could be. He said, I screwed up my first 5 years of being a guide. I've been a guide for 20 years. He said, when I first started, you guys would get in the boats, and I'd say, hey, when we go down, I'll point at the rocks. I'll point at the downed tree. I'll point at the high rapids so you guys can see it, and we'll steer away from it. And he said, I didn't catch on for 5 years that every time I said, hey, guys, don't hit that rock, we'd all look at the rock, and we'd run right into it. He said, what I found and why we're going to be great today, he said, see this finger? You know what this is now? This is the positive point. He said, boys, when I point in a direction, I don't want you to look any other place except the clearing, and I want you to paddle your guts out towards where I point. Don't worry about the downed tree. Don't worry about the rock. Don't worry about the rapids, and don't look any other direction. And they all got a sense of confidence. He said they were fine. He'd go, this way, boys, and they'd all look where they wanted to go. They'd paddle, and they'd steer around it. And isn't that a great metaphor for life? What are we pointing at? Really think about, what are you pointing at? If you point at it, and you already know, I'm not teaching you anything new. You already know what we focus on is what we get more of. If you're in good shape, if you're sitting in this room in good shape, that means you focus on your health and your exercise. If you're sitting in this room right now and you have a great relationship, you focus on your relationship. If you're sitting in this room, you're making more money than most people, you're focusing on your business and your revenue. We know that. But the complete opposite. If you're in good shape, but you're not making the money you want, you might be pointing at the things you don't want in your business life and pointing at the things you do want in your personal life. Does that make sense to everybody? So I want to give you a little secret here. Something that helped me. So if we know, we're starting this, if we know where we are, right, our starting point, and now we know where we want to go, the place for me to find it in today's crazy busy world is this. You see, I believe, anybody remember the Road Runner and the Tasmanian Devil? Is that just dating myself? The Tasmanian Devil used to spin and there was always this dust cloud around him, right? And I believe all of us feel that way in today's world with cell phones in our pockets and apps and text messages and memos. And we are just going 100 miles an hour and I feel like we all got a dust cloud. And then someone comes along and says, set your goals. And a lot of times, I don't know, maybe just me, and some days you're like, set my goals? I just want to get through this day alive. Like you get on the pillow at night, you're like, oh, I made it one more night. So sometimes, and maybe just me, sometimes setting goals is not that easy. But I got a hack around it. You ready for the hack? Let's pretend it's 1 year from today, and we're back in this room. So instead of looking forward towards your goals, let's pretend it's a year from now. We're back in this room, and we're looking back at the year, and it was the best year of your life. There you go. What does the best year of your life look like? What is the best year of your life? How much money are you making? What are you doing for a living? Have you quit something that you should have said no to years ago? Have you started something you should have said yes to a long time ago? Is your relationship thriving? Do you walk in a room and people are like, oh my God, what happened with her? Did she go on vacation, lose weight, cut her hair? She looks on fire, confidence through the roof. How will you look in the mirror? That's right. How will you look in a mirror from that, in the mirror a year from now, if you're back in this room celebrating the best year of your life? And when I look at this way, this is just maybe the way my brain works. When I look ahead, sometimes it's really difficult for me because I have so many things going on right at this moment. But when I take myself out of that, pretend it's a year and I look back, I go, oh, I want to run the fastest 5K in my life. I want to get my revenue to here. I want to donate another 3 million meals. I want to, like all of a sudden it's so easy for me to set where I want to be. Does that make sense to everybody? So now, using that little formula, if you know where you are, use that formula to figure out where it is you want to go. Now you're ahead of, again, you all know this, but just having this intention, and I do this every quarter of my life at least, I know always that my future is changing. It's a moving target, and I know where I want to go. Now my GPS is set. So now you know where you are, you want to know where you want to go. Now you have to tie in something that makes it real, and that's your emotions, to tie in your heart. So the next part, where you are, where do you want to go? The next part is, why the hell do you want it? Why are you in this room? Another thing that you've heard before, but again, I want you to listen through new ears, is why are you in this room? You know, if I said, who's in this room because they want more financial freedom? Raise a hand. Who'd like another level of financial freedom, right? Amazing. You guys could do better than that. Who wants financial freedom? Okay, that's better. Okay. But it's more than that. It's more than that. And you guys, if you took 2 minutes, you'd realize I'm not going to go through the whole process. But in my book and in my life, I go through this process. I was taught over 15 years ago this thing called the 7 levels deep to find out why the hell we do what we do. Why do you want more? Why are you in this room? Why are you seeking out self-education and specialized knowledge and looking for opportunities? It's always deeper. And when I dug into mine, and it's really this simple. If I said, why are you in this room? And you said, I want next level financial freedom. If I said to you, why do you want financial freedom? And you said, I want more time with my family. And I said to you, why do you want more time with your family? You get the point. You ask 7 times with the previous answer. And here's something magical. If you guys do this, when you get to like the 5th or 6th answer, something shifts. Something shifts physiology, like your physiology changes and your emotions change. And what I feel is it goes from your head to your heart. When I got to, somebody did this exercise with me and I said, I wanted financial freedom, I wanted to leave a legacy, I wanted to step up this industry. I had all these great things that came from my head, but when I got to like the 5th or 6th time he asked me, my head stopped working and it was in my heart, tears coming out of my face. Thank you. Tears coming out of my face, and what I said were things I had never said before in my life. I said, I never want to go backwards. And I was like, what the hell does that have to do with me wanting to go to another level in my business? I don't want to go backwards. And I started thinking, when I was a kid, my mom worked 2 jobs, like really tough jobs, to make about $90 a week. She struggled. In fact, my mom's here today. Can you guys give a hand for my mom? Thanks guys. One of the reasons I work so hard is because of that woman. I watched her struggle so we could live in a trailer. You know, it was the nicest trailer park in our little town, but it was still a trailer park. And I watched her struggle to do that. When I realized at this moment why, I didn't want to go backwards. And one of my main reasons for working so hard is I wanted to retire her, and I was blessed to be able to do that at a young age. But thank you. But I remember that feeling of not wanting to go back and watch those struggles and worry about money, and everything was about money. And I said that, I'm like, oh my God, and there was still 2 more layers left. So he said to me, well, why don't you want to go backwards? And then all of a sudden, it hit my heart, and I said, I want my kids to have choices. Now, if you're a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm not talking about raising 2 more entitled kids. The world does not need more entitled children. I'm talking about giving my kids choices that I didn't have. And by the time I mention my kids, I don't know about you guys, I just mention my kids and I can cry. But I'm literally crying, and I'm like, I want my kids to be able to make decisions and hand off the baton and have them take what I did and take it to another level, not be trust fund kids. So I start thinking about that. I'm like, that's why I did it. But there was still one more question left. And he said, well, why do you want your kids to have choices? And I said something I had never said before. I said, I want to be in control of my life. And I don't mean a control freak, but it hit me, and I realized we did. By the time I was 20 years old, we moved 20 times. I had stepfathers and stepmoms and step-grandparents, and I'd get attached to step-sisters and step-brothers and a new step-grandpa, and then that would be gone. And then I'd live with my dad, and he'd have to sell the house because he ran out of money, and we'd have to move. And we moved in my dad's new girlfriend's house, and they fought, and we got thrown out in the middle of the night. I realized as a kid, I was never in control of my life. It wasn't my decision where I went to school. It wasn't my decision who my friends were, who my step-parents were, what house I lived in, who I could go. And I realized at that moment, I've been fighting since I was 5 years old to do what I want, when the hell I want to do it. And I decided I want to raise my kids the way I want to. I want to dress the way I want. I used to wear a sports jacket on stage. I don't care anymore because I want to wear a t-shirt. Thank you. I want to be able to coach softball, and I coach Little League, and I want to be able to take off and go grab my kids. Every day my kids are with me, I pick them up. I'm the dad that sits there at 3:15 when they get out of class. I am there every day. They're with me, and I don't care if there's 14 people in my office. We're closing a $30 million deal. I look at my clock. I literally my watch. I get up and I leave. Because you know why? I want to be in control of my time. I don't want anybody to tell me what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. You guys get that? So now, think of that. If I said, hey, you guys got to fight for what's next. You want that next level, go to it because you want financial freedom. Sometimes, and most times, financial freedom isn't enough. When the shit goes sideways, when the deal falls through, when your wife doesn't support you, when your husband thinks you're crazy, when your relatives look at you like you're a dreamer, when the world tells you to conform and do what everybody else does. You got a great job, you're making good money. Why the hell are you going to an event to jump up and down? When people tell you that, if you go, well, I want to do it because I want financial freedom, it's not enough. But when I hit obstacles, when things go sideways in my life, every single month of my life, I will say, this is hard. I'm sorry it went sideways. This is a little difficult, but I am never going backwards. My kids are going to have choices, and I'm staying in freaking control of my life. You guys get that? Okay, so now think about this. Now, if you know where you are through complete honesty, you know where you want to go because you're looking back over a year, right? You know where you want to drive. You have a destination. You have a beacon. When you attach your heart, when you attach your emotions, that's when nothing gets in your way. That's like when Tony says, you guys excited for Tony later or what? I was with Tony till about 11 o'clock last night. He is feeling amazing. He is on fire. He is going to light it up tonight. So give him some love like you guys always do. But the reason I'm saying that is because when you anchor in your heart, as Tony always says, if something gets in your way, what do? Try again. If you fail, what do? You try again. If you fail 3 more times, what do? You try again. And where does that energy come from? It doesn't come from tactics. It doesn't come from just excitement. It doesn't come from motivation. It comes from that pure heart inside of you and knowing where you want to go, and you don't let anybody get in your way. Nothing. You guys feeling it? Okay, here's the last piece. If you know where you are, you know where you want to go, you know why with your emotions, the last piece is simply how are you going to get there? How are you going to get from where you are, if it's financial, to where you want to go? And that's why I ask you guys to be open-minded, why you're here today, why you came, and what you thought you were going to get may not be what you receive. You see, the one thing that changed my life, anybody see Tony and I live when we did the Knowledge Business Blueprint? Was that awesome or what? What changed Tony and I's life was just what you guys are doing in this room right now. It's self-education, specialized knowledge, learning from other people. Listen, I didn't have a choice. When I went to school, when I went to my guidance counselor and I didn't take my SATs, because I knew I wasn't going to college. We didn't have the money. I didn't think I was smart enough. I had dyslexia. I couldn't read really well. I was already working in my dad's collision shop. I knew I wasn't going to college. I sat with her and she said to me, ooh, no SATs, no college? Maureen Canosa. She said, okay, well, you know what? You could keep working with your dad on cars, or there's one factory in our town called Red's Triple R Industries. She said, you know, they're hiring, and maybe you could put an application in there. They were hiring for $4.95 an hour back then. That was minimum wage. So it was either college or go work in the factory, and nothing in between. No one said, well, you go to college and do specialized knowledge and personal growth and all that stuff, or no college, or this middle road. You could learn from other people who have already been where you are and learn to go faster and quicker. You could get in the specialized, you could get in the knowledge business or knowledge industry. You could get into personal growth. No one ever said that. And when Tony and I look back, he had the same past. You see, Tony did something for me a long time ago. And not many people realize this. I was already on my way doing well, but 20-something years ago, he took my money off of an infomercial. And I got the ultimate edge. And my life changed forever. He took my money. He gave me information. I absorbed it. I course corrected. I shifted. And from the day Tony gave me that, I've done over $1 billion in sales. When I bought Tony's course online, no one in my family had ever done that. None of my friends had ever done that. I was the fool. I was the one that got robbed off an infomercial. Who's the fool now? So the thing I'm sharing with you, you're in this room gaining self-education, specialized knowledge, the things that allow you to go quicker and faster. And that's why Tony and I are so passionate. That's why we got together and built a blueprint on how people can be in this knowledge industry. But who in here has had a shift in their life from something you've learned from somebody else? All of us. So what I'm going to ask you today is be open-minded to self-education. If you know where you are through that exercise, you know where you want to go, and you know why you want it from your heart. What's left is, what are the capabilities? What is the how you need to get from where you are to where you want to go and absorb it from the people speaking now and tomorrow? You guys up for that? Who's ready for some self-education? Who's ready for self-education? You guys are amazing. Here's the cool part. Maybe because I'm kind of cool, I don't know, but I'm back again tomorrow. You guys ready for tomorrow? But in the meantime, you got all these other cool speakers, I guess. You know what I mean? Listen, right now, I want to bring out a friend of mine who's going to share with you some self-education on real estate. He's an awesome dude. Love this guy. I'd love for you to give him an incredible welcome to Mr. Wayne Gray. Thanks, guys.